Here we go. So it might just go live. There we go. And it did work that time. Hello, everybody.
Y'all missed the countdown because of a technical glitch. But hey, we're
yeah.
okay. We're okay with that. Why make
I'm
you sit
sorry. I'm sorry you missed a couple of numbers.
You know what? Some people like the numbers.
They do. They do.
I mean, I heard the Count from Sesame Street's a big fan of the show, and
Yep.
he is
Yes.
always on top of that. Like that's his favorite part is just watching the countdown.
Absolutely. I would agree there. But what's up, everybody? For everyone tuning in on YouTube, as always, you can tune in anytime we go live. For recording, we record every episode live and uncut here. Leave any questions or comments that you do have in the chat. We will get to those questions and comments during the break and at the end of the show. We are going to be a little pressed for time at the end today, so may not have as much of extended stuff, but we'll have some bonus footage, some bonus content and stuff like that for you. But that's me drinking. You will get started here in just a moment. All right.
You're not drinking that prime crap still, are you?
I am. Glowberry, man. It's good as hell.
Oh, God.
It's good. I got my Prime here today, and then I got my Gatorade Fast Twitch for my energy. So
now I will say I tried the Fast Twitch last week.
Good
not
stuff.
Not the best flavor, but it's decent.
It's good. I like it. Well, what flavor do you have?
What do I have? The red. Hold on, I'm trying to think.
The blue. I think it was lemon. The cool blue is really good.
I think it was lemon lime or something like that.
That's why you got to get the blues. You got to go with the blues.
Yeah, it still has that artificial sweetener taste to it, though. So it's
a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to get it rolling?
Let's just get this shit going, man.
All right.
So big show.
Hold on. We'll do the normal intro for all those listening on the pod waves.
All right.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 201 of Let Me Get That Potograph. As always, my name is Drew, or the DH, and joining me, my co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport. What's up, dude?
Living the dream. Just really excited for the Bears game tonight.
I'm sure you are. All right, it's just said no one except for you. Ever.
Yeah, that's pretty dude. That was I don't even want to call that sarcasm because that just goes well beyond sarcasm. As it stands right now, the Bears have the first and second draft pick.
That's all right, mate. My Panthers are fighting you for it. My Panthers are fighting hard for that.
No. That's where that's where that draft pick comes from. Is the Panthers?
Yeah, I know, but still. Yeah, that's DJ Moore though. That's not our it's a protected pick. The one that we would have this year.
Is it?
Yeah, it's protected. It's top 6 protected. I know this.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was a protected pick, but
no,
either way.
Protected.
So
yeah. But no, we you guys and us both fighting for Caleb Williams and probably a couple other people. It'd be interesting if we took quarterback 2 years in a row. We'll be talking about a lot of football later on in this show, guys, as a lot of stuff came through. But Scott, today is basically, we might as well just title the show Updates.
Yep.
Because my God, we got updates on quite a few different things. And thankfully, I mean, I like the fact that we're getting updates. But a lot of stuff has happened since our awesome episode 200, which I want to thank all of our awesome guests that came on that show, as well as all of you that tuned in and made it one of the most fun shows we ever had. But Scott, a lot of updates in the works. And let's start out with the fun ones. It's not Tuesday, it's Thursday.
Yep.
Let's talk tacos, baby.
I know. So Topps finally released what is going on with the TacoFractor. And exactly like I have been saying for months.
Well, yeah, we said it was one. We said that was probably an option of one of the things that it could be. But tell everybody exactly what it is.
Exactly as I predicted it was going to be. It is that the first person to steal a base during the World Series, if you have that player's TacoFractor, you will get what they are referring to as tacos for life from Taco Bell. Now, read the fine print, Tacos for
Mhm.
Life means they're going to give you a $15,000 gift card,
Yes.
and you can use that at Taco Bell. Now, I will tell you, I had a buddy of mine who's out in California who was
Mhm.
complaining about the cost of a chalupa the other day. Not the meal, just a chalupa, I guess, down
Yeah.
in his area. He's down near like Long Beach and,
Yeah.
or Anaheim, somewhere in there. $7 for a chalupa.
Mhm.
15 grand's not going to get you very far in a lot of places,
No.
as far as tacos for life. But now all of a sudden we're starting to see some crazy things happen. And by the way, we found out what is the wild card. I
Yes.
just pulled this up on Topps actually put it in
Which is
FAQ.
actually exactly what I said it was
Yep,
gonna be, and
exactly.
that any player that is not on the checklist that steals a base is the wild card.
Exactly. So, well, it didn't say checklist. It said any player who does not have their own TacoFractor card. Because again,
Yeah.
remember, they only made 200 different players for
Right.
TacoFractors. Even though there are 220 players in the set. So I'm curious. We've seen, obviously the likely candidates. Acuna is a big one.
Albies is up there. I saw an
Yep.
Albies sell for around $4,000 last night.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, now when did this news? Did this news break yesterday, or did this break this morning?
It broke this morning, Thursday, October 5th, when we're recording, a day late
Yeah,
this week. But it did break this morning, the news of the TacoFractor. And that's one of the issues I have with it. Well, I'm going to get into a lot in a few minutes, but is that you already let 4 teams go out of the playoffs without even announcing this. I think you should have announced it earlier, like I said before. But we'll get into that in just a moment.
yeah. But so obviously the wild card is selling, now. I mean, there's one that's like sitting at 11 grand on bids
Yeah.
right now, and everybody in all their groups are like, man, this is shill bidding. This is all, people are bidding this up. But no,
Mm-hmm.
dude, somebody's willing to pay, 11 grand for the chance at 15 grand worth of tacos.
Yeah.
And I don't know why
And the
they're not.
card, you do get the card.
And you get to, I mean, I'm curious as to how they're gonna handle that, because do you have to send in the card
Oh
and
yeah,
they
wait,
mark
good
it?
call. Good
Do
call.
they mark it and send it back to you?
Yeah.
It's oh yeah, here we go. How do I redeem a TacoFractor card? Create Topps account, claim submission, left hand screen, add claim, verify your address. Click save. Once you file your claim, you'll be asked to mail in your card for validation by our
Yeah.
claims team. You'll receive an email once your card. You must redeem it by the end of the year. It doesn't say anything about getting the card back.
Yeah, so you're probably not, would be my guess. So you do have to mail the card in. So 5 people, obviously, if all 5 have been pulled, have a chance at 15K. Okay, so there's the information on what this is and everything like that. Now I want to dive into all this, because first thing I want to say is our job on this show is to take topics and sometimes critique them and analyze them. So we're going to dive deeper than to what this is on the surface. Now, on the surface, great. This is cool. It puts cards at, I guess, the forefront, you would say, of a really cool promotion during the World Series. I think that's awesome. I think that's a great idea. And it's a really cool promotion that they've already kind of had a tie in with Taco Bell anyway. So I like that idea. Nothing wrong with that. If it gets a couple new people in, that's great. But now I want to talk about everything else. The reason that I think this is messed up that they waited till so long to get some of these. Mike Trout, for example, his TacoFractor sold for over $10,000. There are, like, when they were out, because of the mystery of what the bonus would be. Angels never had a fucking chance of making the playoffs. So, and definitely not the World Series, especially when Chrome came out. So the pricing of all this, and we talked about this before, it was worrisome how much people were spending on this stuff, not knowing what it could be. Now, my biggest thing is you have a lawsuit right now where one of your biggest claims is lack of innovation. You're doing something where you create a brand new card and a brand new set and you put it into a product, and your result of this big grand chase that everyone needed to stay tuned for was basically a promotion you'd already been doing just on steroids. Like I think there should have been something else attached to this, to where it's not the first person that steals a base gets this and every other card then immediately becomes fucking worthless. Like, they could have they've been doing so much. The Topps party that they had where Brady and Kevin Hart showed up and all this at a random store. They're doing so much with athletes, and we talked about this when we speculated on what it was. I wish they would have done more with athletes, or have something involved, maybe even a Topps TacoFractor party, some type of event that all of the holders of these that were spending thousands and thousands of dollars in some cases on these cards would get, instead of 5 cards being worth something and everything else being an way overpriced out of 5 card. That's my critique on all of this.
I agree. They could have done something a lot cooler.
Yeah. In addition to this, I'm not saying
in addition, no, of course. There's always maybe give away, tacos for life for, the first person to steal a base, and maybe a $5,000 Taco Bell card for the second person to steal a base, or the first person from the other team to steal a base. Make it a little bit more interesting.
Or like 10 or like something about present, even for like all the losers, present the card at a Taco Bell, let them see it, and you get a free taco or something. Anything at all, just like adding some value, but taking something besides just redeeming it for Taco Bell. They could have tied in, and I think they could have taken a little more thought into really making it into some type of experience, which Taco Bell would have been on board for.
Well, the other piece is, you're giving away $15,000 worth of Taco Bell.
Okay.
Are you also giving away the equivalent in cardiologist referrals and weight loss clinic?
Right. Yeah, I know.
In Pepto-Bismol.
Exactly.
Toilet paper. You're getting $15,000 worth of toilet paper along with this as well.
I know.
Maybe a new toilet would be necessary for some people, but
seriously,
there's all sorts of things that they could have done that they didn't do.
No,
and I don't know. It just seems it's okay. Great, 5 people are getting tacos for life.
Maybe if they're pulled by the end of the year.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. Up to 5 people are getting tacos for life, and it's not even good tacos.
No,
it's Taco Bell.
Well, we knew it was gonna be, shit tacos. We knew it was coming from Taco Bell.
Or why don't we give away, partner up with one of the tequila companies or the mezcal companies and give away the equivalent.
Mark Wahlberg would have done it in a heartbeat. Yeah. His kids are cardaholics.
However much alcohol you need to drink to make Taco Bell taste good for that $15,000. That would be, I'm game with, I'm all over that.
Yeah. Make a refractor.
Yeah. And you're right. Mark Wahlberg would have been on that. George Clooney probably would have got, he's got a mezcal brand.
Rock.
Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, the list goes on. The Rock, millions of people.
Yeah, everybody seems to own a tequila brand these days.
They do.
But that I'd maybe partner with that.
But it's just, you know what I mean? It just seems underwhelming to me, and only because they hyped it like crazy. They were hyping it like it was some massive announcement type of deal, and I only say this because, like I said, the promotion is awesome, great. It'll pull some new people in. I'm sure that's cool. I hope they do some type of special, playoff or World Series pack at Taco Bell or something, 5 base cards or something that can get people in it, something along those lines. But you could have done so much more with this. This seems like something where you're making these really cool events happening all the time. Really neat events, and I give them amazing credit with what they're doing with LCSs right now. That if the events that they've been having, and having Brady and Kevin Hart show up, but having like 150, I think it was, card shows participate or card shops participate in an event, and then having massive athletes showing up at all of them. There was one here in Apex, North Carolina. Stuff like that is incredible, and I love it. I love the ground floor approach, the LCS approach. But when it comes to something in packs, like I don't know, they dropped the ball on this, in my opinion.
Well,
even though, like I said, they did a good promotion, but they really missed the mark when it came to the actual prizes of all this. And a lot of people wasted, I mean, some people over $10,000 on stuff that never even had a chance.
Well, now that the promotion is out there, speaking of packs, is this going to create a run? Because I believe TacoFractors, I know they're not in retail, but I think I can't remember if they're a hobby only or jumbo only, or if they're in both.
No, they're in both. They're in both.
Okay. So is this going to create a run on the product looking, basically looking for the Acuñas that haven't been pulled yet?
Yeah. Well, first we got to see how many have actually been pulled, and if there is, I'm sure people are looking right now to try and find sales and see how many are out there. But you could, if there's, let's say, if there's only 2 confirmed Acuña sales, or at least 2 cards pulled, and there's 3 out there, then yeah, sure. Albies, yeah, sure. Couple other people, I'm sure, maybe someone from the Phillies, possibly, doubtful, but I think I could easily see the prices of those teams going up in breaks. I could see, a lot of different possibilities. I hope it's a freaking pitcher or something, somebody just absurd.
All right, dude. Well, here's what I can tell you. So on the 7th, what day is? Oh, September 7th. Sorry. A Topps Cosmic Acuña TacoFractor number 1 of 5. Sold for $1,450.
Wait, so there's Cosmics too?
Yes, Cosmics and regulars. Now, what I don't know is, are they? I'm looking up those listings right now. Are they? They look exactly the same. So I think the TacoFractors are in Cosmics, so it's the same.
So there's 5. So there's 5 total across both products.
Correct, and it looks like number 1 of 5 for Acuña, sold for $1,450, and it looks like it got pulled out of Cosmic. And the same thing also from Cosmic, number 3 of 5 Acuña, sold on September 5th for $1,775. So those right now have got to be going like crazy, and there are no. Let me change the spelling of this.
I would put those up for auction immediately. Immediately, I would put those Acuñas up, because that's probably your best bet, him or Albies, I think. Like I said, the Albies just sold for around almost $4,000. So I would throw those Acuñas up quick, but I don't know if you're going to see a huge surge in stuff just because it's been out for a while. I think you'll see a lot of these go to auction, but the timing of all of this, as well as what the actual end result prize is, I don't know, to me is just a major letdown. But
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how many people are going to go drop thousands of dollars on product for a chance to basically get the shits for life.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. Well, we'll see.
This is a gastroenterologist's dream.
Yes. Well, let's move on from Topps, and slide on over to Bowman. What do you say? Because last week, guys, on episode 200, we talked a lot with Tracy Hackler. If you missed it, you guys need to check this show out. So much information, especially if you're new in the hobby, that I think you really need to listen to. But some very, very interesting stuff was discussed. And we talked quite a bit about the Superfractor duplicates and how to handle crisis situations, how to handle this stuff in the hobby. And about 2 days after we put that episode out, Topps comes out with a statement finally and a resolution. And Scott, this is an interesting one with almost a little over $780,000 total will be spent fixing this screw up.
So they identified, I believe it was 92
Yes,
of the
92
of the of the Superfractors that duplicates were involved. And
Mhm.
what they did was they put out basically a bounty, and the first person to claim the bounty for each one of those cards
Yep.
is basically being paid off because they
Mhm.
want the duplicate ones off the market.
Yeah.
So they put out some ridiculous valuation.
Amazing.
The
Salas
lowest,
was $75,000.
the lowest payout for one of these duplicates for, basically a guy that has no chance of making it, is a scrub, but it's still super. $2,500 for a card
Yeah.
that maybe would have sold for like $200-300.
Yep.
The Salas, I could see that super, probably being 8 to 10 grand
Yes.
in a normal world, but they put a $75,000 valuation on it, and all of a sudden, as of the show last week, we only knew of 2 that had duplicates, and now all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork.
Oh no, I looked this morning, and almost
majority are
50%. I mean, well over 50% of these have been claimed. They are in pending status.
So, and all it's really going to do is, it's going to hype the product for a little while because people are going to start ripping it like crazy again. And once, like I said, I think the Salas that remains out there, somebody that tries to sell it is going to, most likely try to say, well, Topps was willing to pay me $75,000 for it.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Okay, so we've got this now where Topps is basically putting a value on each super. They've basically tried to put a value on the secondary market of each Superfractor, or those 92 at least. Those 92 players, which include pretty much all the big names as I scroll through here. Some of them have been purchased by Topps and everything. They label it if it's purchased. For those of you on YouTube,
they label it if it's pending as well.
Try and get that in there on YouTube. Can't, but they label it if it's pending and everything like that. But they're basically putting out there, okay, Salas at 75, and then someone like Jose De Paula at $3,000.
Well, but then I believe I think Benny Montgomery is in there at like $5,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And look, I love Benny.
And
Benny.
Even Spencer Jones, which isn't a first. The Spencer Jones isn't even a first.
Well, Benny's not a first either.
I know, but his is $3,000. But this is my question now to you. Okay, so we've got these. They've basically put a number in the market for what these supers are worth. They pull these off the market when all of these other supers, the technically the only ones on the market now, get pulled. Do you see this as one of those, like, all these guys have no chance of making it? Do you think the other super is going to go for anything near that or more than that? Do you see this hyping any players up?
No, but I see
Topps value so and so at this. Like, what do you think?
No, but I see it creating an atmosphere where you have people that that aren't normally sellers or new to the hobby, thinking that they all of a sudden have this monster card that's worth $75,000, when in reality they've got something that maybe on a good day is worth 5 to 10.
Right.
And they're going to be really bent out of shape when nobody offers them, or comes even close to the $75,000 that they're thinking of, and they're going to be pissed at Topps and Fanatics because they artificially inflated the market temporarily, and the reason that they did it is because they want these cards off the market.
Yes. Well, and they want their product sold. Let's be honest, okay? Look, they put out a lot of money to fix this mistake.
But their product being sold has nothing to do with it, because all that product has already been produced and is already sold. It's either in the hands of collectors, card shops, or distributors at this point.
Right, but
they're not taking in any extra money.
But they want Bowman ripped. They want the attention to be on Bowman. Any company does. If you don't, you're stupid. I mean, you don't sell a product and not want to see it ripped. They want the attention put on the product.
Yeah. But I will say, as far as a hey, sorry, we fucked up kind of thing, this is a big one.
No, this is a huge one, and I
Yeah.
will say that this is a wonderful, wonderful job and a great way of doing it. I think you need to put a disclaimer out there saying that in no way, shape, or form are we saying that this is what the value of these cards are, type of
Yeah.
stuff. When you do this, but I love that they overvalued this stuff
Yeah.
and didn't offer you 1,500 Panini points for like the lowest super, or something
Well,
like
what they say, what they're really saying without actually selling it is we want to maintain the integrity of our product and we're
that.
willing
Right.
to put out all this money. So as much as I got on them on last week's episode about not saying anything, even with a hey, we're looking into it, we'll get back to
Yeah.
forget like this was a solid response.
No, this was a solid response. I do think in the future you still put out that first message
Yep.
of, hey, we're looking into it, and then you put out this message so people know. And I hope the people that listen to our show that had some of these supers did what we said and did not sell them and held on to them. Like we told everybody, do
Yep.
not sell these right now until you figure out what's going on. About a month ago, when we started hearing rumors about this, now, that's great. Look, awesome. Fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mr. Rubin. But we still don't have an answer on the backdoor Bowman and Topps Chrome cards
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's been out there a lot longer. That involves a lot of scams. That involves a lot of forgery. We need answers on that stuff. So while you did a good job fixing this, we need the transparency is far from over. The big stuff needs to be talked about and it needs to be continued. But considering what we were talking about last week, this is a great step in the right direction and another positive, I can say, for Topps fanatics, the Ruben era of the hobby,
Yeah.
if you will. A very big positive on their end. Swing and a miss with the TacoFractor, home run with fixing this really, really big screw up.
Yeah. Now, I want to know, had this happened before Fanatics bought Topps,
No,
would Topps have done something like this? Because they
no,
obviously Fanatics has much deeper pockets
no.
to be able to pull this off, and I don't think Topps prior to this would have made. But at the same time,
Well,
I don't think Topps prior to this would have had this happen in the first place.
well, I was about to say, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. I don't think that stuff like that was very rare, very, very rare. The stuff you saw was more like a missing auto or something like that. Very rarely were there duplicates and things like that put in. But would they have done something like this? Possibly, but to a much lower extent, like 1,500 Panini points type deal, type of bullshit.
Yeah.
Store credit type of crap, something like that. But also remember, all the people making these decisions, even at Topps, ignore Fanatics, but the Topps area of the company, it's all new people anyway. So it's
Yeah.
not any of the same people that would have been making those decisions at all. That's been completely overhauled. We all know about that. So no, I think this is a new group. But I definitely, this was Fanatics opening their wallet and saying, well, first of all, they made way more than this on Bowman Chrome alone. So
Oh yeah. There's no
it's just
question.
okay. Our profit margin on this one product is a little lower, but that's it, And so it's Fanatics opening up their wallet and saying, hey, this is our first massive screw up on a major product that's been
Second.
publicized big.
Second.
That's been publicized big. They still won't answer the backdoor Bowman stuff. But
They still forgot to put in the short prints in Topps Chrome last year.
that's true, and they didn't answer for that either. So
Yeah.
okay. So second, third,
No,
whatever you
they
want to
did. That's
call
why
it.
they released the silver packs.
Yes. So they did do some type of fixing,
Yeah.
but this is the right way to handle it. They did a good job. Now let's just get some answers on some of the other stuff that's out there from this year that's very pressing on products that are being broken right now and in the future that are quite important, like those backdoor cards. Let's get an answer to that, Mr. Rubin.
Well, here's what I want to know too. So they know that it only affected 92 of the cards.
Yeah.
And maybe it was something as simple as, like we talked about with Tracy last week, was they went back to their vault, they counted what they had, noticed, well, we've only got 8. So it's got to be 92, and then they would obviously narrow down which ones from there. But they had it investigated and had it narrowed down fairly quickly.
And they also had photographs of every single
yeah.
card. So does that mean there was a third and that two?
Well, no, but
then
they could also have pulled the photographs from the from when they print. So it's
well, if that's the case, thank God they're at least holding photos now.
Well, no. I'm not saying of the exact card. That may not be a photo of the exact card. Those might be the mock-ups from the original design.
Yeah, it would have. They are. I'm looking at it now.
So it's not. Yeah, that part I'm not concerned about. But they got this done pretty quickly, and they kind of knew. They had the valuations out very quickly, and so that kind of leads me to question whether or not this was not unintentional. Was this done on purpose?
That's a really good question.
And I would like to think that it's not. The fact is I don't know.
Yeah. But that's a great way to get some positive attention when you're known for fucking things up anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you're known for screwing things up, and like we talked about on last week's show, not having to do anything about it and nobody caring, it just disappearing after a while and everybody just taking it up the ass. Well, maybe this was, hey, that if you want to put some tinfoil on, that's got some legs.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist here, but
no,
as quickly as they were able to get things out once the story really broke, it kind of led me to believe that they've been working on this for a little while.
No, I have a feeling they knew about it before we did.
Yeah, and
I think they were waiting for it to hit the market, waiting for it to get big and out of control, and then put this out as a response. Like, look at what we did. We figured this out in a couple of days. No, I think they knew as quick as they got this figured out.
Yeah, and that's so they either knew long before the first product was open, and they were just waiting, or the whole thing was planned all along.
Yeah. And one of the two, especially based off all of this. But
and that's that's how it's going to be going forward. If that's the way they want to draw attention, that's fine. I'm really hoping it was just a screw up and a mistake. And
hey, but you can still pull that Sebastian Walcott Superfractor and get $35,000. So take it, guys. Just take it. Whatever their plan was, take it as they opened up their wallets. That's for sure.
Yep, exactly. And speaking of open up wallets, we're going to open up ours really quick to let some money flow in. So we'll be back after this. I knew where you were going with that one.
Catching those spots. What's up, guys that are watching live on YouTube? How you guys doing? Hope all is well. Feel free to drop some comments, questions, anything in the comments. Nothing so far on today's show, so we'll get back into it here in just a minute, but we will answer any questions or comments at the end of the show that you guys do have. But so I don't know. It is wild how I do think that they knew. I think they knew early. I think they knew way before we did. This stuff just got in way too much.
If it wasn't planned from the beginning, they definitely knew before the product had come out. And maybe it's one of those where they got the duplicates back and said, "Oh shit, there's only 8."
Right. Yes.
And instead of pulling the product, unpacking it all, looking for they just said, all right, well, it was probably cheaper for them to have the product get released and pay off to the tune of $750,000 than the labor to rip all of that product to find 92 cards.
Yeah. It's 100% cheaper. That's why those Troy Aikman fake autographs at Topps, when they did the opening and pulling of all the fakes back in the day, that's why so many stayed on the market, because it was too cheap to open everything up. So they opened up as much as they could afford. Yep. 99% of that product didn't get filtered out. And that's where all those fake pen autos come from. So I mean, it's expensive to open that stuff up and redo packaging. So no, they 100%. I'm right there with you. I never really thought about that, but good call.
Yeah. So all right. Ready to come back?
So we're gonna come back in with Punani, and then end with the Great
Punani. I fucking love that name, Punani.
And then end with the Great Pepino.
Yeah, I believe his name was mentioned in an NWA song, or maybe it was just Snoop or
Dre,
or Dre, or somebody involved with NWA or Legacy NWA. Right. Had mentioned Punani in there. So
there you go. All right. Well, I'll let you bring us back in.
All right, and we are back. The wallets are fat and happy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who else is happy?
Who's that?
Panini.
That they are. Good news for Panini, finally.
And honestly, good news for the hobby.
The entire hobby. Yeah. Great news for the entire hobby.
And, we brought this up in the conversation with Tracy last week, and, we got the exact answer we were expecting from Tracy, was that, he's really got nothing to talk about from that standpoint. But
that they were moving forward with the idea that they were going to be able to release cards.
Yep. And obviously he had no idea that this was coming down because this hadn't happened yet as of the last show. But the courts decided in their infinite wisdom to deny the NFL Players Association an injunction against Panini to produce cards going forward.
Yeah.
The case is still playing out in court. So, a future ruling is going to come down and is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be that Panini has to stop making the cards, or that they get to continue to make cards through the end of the contract. So the good news is there, at least for the time being, will continue to be cards released for the 2023 season.
Yes, we're going to get cards for the 2023 season. Fully
licensed. That is the good news for the hobby.
Yes.
That is also the good news, at least for now, for Panini.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't have good news without having bad news for somebody. That is the bad news for the NFL Players Association and Fanatics, who are planning on usurping the contract and telling Panini to go pound sand.
Yeah. But this really is great for the entire hobby as a whole, as we talked about before. Anytime an entire sport tanks in the hobby, it's not good for the entire hobby. It never works out great. But now you're getting a full year's worth of, or at least we hope, court decisions could change that, but we're going to be able to continue to get cards to come out that are fully licensed, because had this played out differently, we'd be getting half licensed cards from Topps, and
and I don't know what we'd be getting from Panini, because if they're licensing that, they can license the team names, but they can't use any of the player images.
It would just be ridiculous. And so the idea of all of that would just be absurdity. And I think it would show in the value. I don't think 2023 cards would hold value outside of what's already released had the decision gone the other way. So I think this is an incredibly smart decision, at least on the court side, for the hobby side, and especially for Panini, who now gets to continue to make their football cards.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the judge who issued the order is also a collector.
He may be. They definitely got a lot of money.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. But, this has outside of just the case, this has had a massive impact, and it's going to continue to have a massive impact on the NFL hobby and how everything is being spent. And you're seeing it now. A prime example, and we talked about this on the show, told you guys if you wanted licensed autos of these guys to buy the cards, there were only, 391 base and then a couple of parallels produced of each quarterback. But the instant autos, the first impression autos of Stroud, Levis, and Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Young. They all are skyrocketing, especially CJ Stroud. Bryce Young, Will Levis, not so much, but Stroud's have exploded. A PSA 9 sold for $2,000 what did it sell for? Okay, a PSA 9 of the first impressions, the base, just sold for $2,424, while the black 1 of 1 the week before only did 4,560.
And
These
what are
cards,
these? Oh, and really quick, just what did these cards get released at from a price standpoint?
I believe they were $125 or so.
That's it.
125, $130. Yeah, they were very cheap. They were not that expensive. They were
Okay.
under $200 to purchase. I know that. Under
So
200 for the base, all the way up to, and then they had a couple of parallels. But to get the actual card, I think they might have been 199 or something, but they were under 200 cards to get these purchased. There were 391 base of each player, and then only like 2 parallels, and then the 101. So there's only 400 and probably there's less than 450 by far, probably less than 425 of all of these cards put together, of every single one of these cards. And now they're going to be, at least so far, they're only licensed autos, unless, well, there's no way they can't be. So they're their only licensed rookie autos. But I mean, those are going through the roof. But you're also, like I said before, you're seeing people put money in positional players. Swift, David Montgomery, their cards are going through the roof. Justin Jefferson going through the roof. Puka Nakua, who only
just
has
untight.
Do what?
Just untight.
Puka Nakua, dude. His black gold Prism draft picks autograph just sold for $900, which is the same as a Justin Jefferson Prism camo auto. I mean, dude, now granted, Puka only in Prism, in nothing else, and probably will not be in much stuff until Contenders, probably, I would say. So he's not going to have a lot of stuff, I don't think, since he's been left out of so many other sets. But you're seeing a lot of money being put into position players, like we talked about and said could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Now that we're not getting these big quarterback autos.
I mean, dude, even Tutu Atwell's starting to get some love.
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. People are paying attention to positional players now. Now, Stroud, there's a good reason for that increase, that over 50% increase in his first impression. Stroud is playing lights out, and if he was on any team but the Texans, he'd probably be leading them to the playoffs. This kid is freaking legit, dude. I mean, no interceptions, over 1,000 yards, and just playing.
Well, you also got to keep in mind that people are still throwing money at Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields, and like I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
People finally stopped spending money on Mac Jones, but it wasn't because he was playing; it's because they found out the guy's an asshole.
Yeah. Exactly. But also at the same time, you've got big quarterbacks like Burrow struggling tremendously. If he wasn't their franchise quarterback and he wasn't, already responsible, and, Joe Cool, he'd be benched, in my opinion. I think he's hurt a lot more than he's leading on, and it's leading to a drop in his prices. Desmond Ridder, his prices falling off the map. Zach Wilson, cards are falling off the map, but they're not necessarily being put only into quarterbacks, and I love that. Like, yes, Tua's cards skyrocketing, as they should be.
Have you seen Travis Kelce's prices?
Well, yeah. Thank you, Taylor Swift, for that. Now, apparently, there's a lot of Swifties in the hobby, because what the hell? I expected it on jerseys and stuff like that, but not cards. But apparently there's a lot of Swifties that collect cards and just don't like to say it out in public, because Kelce stuff being snagged up like crazy as well. But just I love seeing it, and I think it's a correlation of the uncertainty that we had until this court decision, along the lines of not having these top quarterbacks autographs. Now, thankfully, we have Anthony Richardson, who's playing great. Richardson's playing great for the Colts. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. Again, he's just stuck on the Colts. But not having Stroud, Young, and Levis in the autographs really leaves you with Puka, if he's in it, Bijan Robinson, Anthony Richardson, and a couple other people but they're all position players. And so I think that's kind of making this year a little different, but it's awesome to finally see people putting love into positional players. If you have those Puka cards, I recommend selling, but also I think it's a pretty good time to buy because some of them are still very low. His Prism stuff. I just grabbed a couple this week that are low. I think Puka Nakua is the real deal. I think the Rams are the real deal. And I like seeing him go, but having hit some of his stuff sell for the same price as Justin Jefferson, a little wild, a little crazy.
No.
That's a little too out there for me. I think Jefferson should be priced way higher, especially since, I mean, well, shit, we saw what his Prism 101 did a while ago. And now you're seeing he could break that record for receiving this year. So who knows? But you are
keep in mind they do have to play the Bears twice.
Yes.
So he may break the record just on those 2 games.
Yeah. Yep.
So, so I'm curious as to see what's going to happen this year because again, we only have one of the top quarterbacks drafted that are coming out in there, and then you've got all the position players. So, is Panini going to load in extra autos of guys like Mahomes and those guys are? I
brought it up when I talked to Tracy. I kind of brought it up when we talked to Tracy on episode 200. I've noticed that if you look at Mosaic, there's a lot of veterans and a lot of Hall of Famers and a lot of people you haven't seen for years that are included in these products, like Doug Flutie. No reason for Doug Flutie to be in a product these days, unless they've got some autographs left over and they want to put him in some products.
No, that is true. The only product that Doug Flutie belongs in is cereal. So I don't know, but there's some other guys that that we haven't seen products of in a long time. So it's it is good to see some of those guys, and you brought that up last week. But so are they going to be putting in autos of current or retired guys?
Yep.
Obviously, we're not going to see any Brady autos because he's tied in with Fanatics.
Nope. No Brady.
So that's
Brady soon, but we'll see Brady autos soon, but it'll be in baseball.
Yes, exactly. I can't wait for Bowman Draft to come out to see what those end up
there you go.
Going off at. But there's something I was going to say. But speaking of products, now we didn't even discuss this part yet, but I got a bone to pick with Topps.
What's that?
So Allen and Ginter just came out a couple weeks ago, and they put the wrong Rappaport in the product. So Ian Rappaport, NFL Insider, NFL.com writer,
he was included.
He was included this year with autos and the whole thing, the relics and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a little pissed because once again they left me out.
Yeah. Hey, well, they left you out and they screwed me over. I wanted to continue my Gaslight Anthem collection. A lot of musicians know Gaslight Anthem.
But they haven't been doing that consecutive years.
Whatever. I need to finish my set.
So they need the rest of the band in there.
There's just 2. For fuck's sake. There's 2 left.
Just look. If somebody from Topps is just mock up a couple of those cards, have the guys sign them, and send them to Drew.
Yeah, and then let him finish that's the only person that cares.
Yeah, let him finish the set, call it a day. But I've been making a play to get into Allen and Ginter for years, and there's like 10 different things that they could put me in there as. And
we could have gone in as a dual. Hey guys, you got dual autos right here. But
no, that is true. But here's the thing. First, they put in Mike. Yeah. Who I'm really not a fan of. Now they put Ian.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think if anybody, Ron is probably going to be next.
Yeah.
Big sports writer, LA Times, Chicago.
One day, Scott Rappaport.
One day they will come down and say, "All right, it's your turn." And I'll tell you, I know what they pay for, to sign those cards.
Yeah.
I'll do it for free.
Yep, there you go.
Just let me keep a couple of them, and I'll do it for free.
There you go. Well,
So
speaking on the other side of free, Scott, let's go to our last subject today. Well, I guess this is free. One collector who bought some Bowman. Let's circle back to Bowman, and one collector lucky enough to spend money on a pack of Bowman ends up pulling that Babe Ruth one
well,
of
it
one.
was in a break. No, it was in a break.
Whatever. He bought a team in a break, pulled the Babe Ruth 1/1 Superfractor that was not duplicated.
No, no, that was not duplicated. And look, it shocks me, man. 200 grand for a pitcher?
I know, 200 grand for a pitcher, bro.
Nobody buys pitchers, boy.
Fucking
So
shitty first Bowman pitchers. I can't
yeah,
stand it.
so
Putting
200
those
grand. That
bums
was
in
the
a
David Adams
product.
bounty, and I'm assuming they'll pay out on it. Assuming the guy wants to sell.
Dude, if you don't, oh my god,
take the money and run. That is
you're an
my
idiot, bro.
yes. Take the money and run.
Take your money, spend $500, and have Tanner Jones make you freaking custom, and then enjoy 100 and something.
And but here's what I love. In all the groups that this got posted in,
yeah,
there are people that had no idea the bounty was even out there.
Yes.
And replying to comments about, hey, take your 200 grand and run. And they're like, 200 grand? Are you insane? Like, this is maybe like a $5,000 to $10,000 card. Some people were even saying it's like $2 grand.
Yep. Have you looked at eBay? Have you done anything, or are you just spouting shit out of your ass?
Pretty much. And the amount of stuff that comes out of people's asses in some of these groups is absolutely insane. Like our buddy Gilmore the other day made a comment about, becoming a zombie after the emergency alert test yesterday. And, he's like, hey, who wants to go look for brains with me? And I told him flat out, it's out there. I'm like, dude, well, you can skip looking in this group because there's no brains in there.
No.
And I'm not going to mention the group, but the, it's absolutely insane, the stupidity that's out there.
Well, I completely agree. But I was so surprised how many people didn't know this bounty was out there. This was very publicized. This was very, very out there that this card was being looked for. I was surprised how many people didn't know. But yeah, it is out there. If this person doesn't take this, I don't know. I think they're absurd, but it's quite convenient that Babe Ruth gets pulled right when they have to start paying out on these supers, as people start chasing these supers, even though looking at the list, there really aren't many left. I'm not counting all of them.
It's amazing how quick those things got filled up on that list. I was shocked.
Oh, what it was is I think so many of them got pulled by people, and a lot of people we see stuff on social media, but social media is such a small portion of the hobby. Like, there's a lot of people that are on social media that don't post a damn thing about cards that have some of the biggest cards in the hobby. And so I think a lot of people had those supers, and I think a lot of people had at least one of the two, and are just people that don't bother in groups, that don't bother dealing with this stuff all the time, because that's a very small percentage of the hobby. And so I think once this got out there, they were like, oh, wait a minute, I got this. Boom, bang, bang, boom, done. And then I think a lot of people probably also opened what they had when they saw, if people were sitting on just personal cases just for fun, they're ripping that case to see if a super's in there. And then if he's on there, boom, you just quadrupled your money like right off the bat, so
because the cost of the even the cheapest one, getting 2,500 back, if you rip a case, getting 2,500 back on a card,
right,
plus the remaining stuff, because like none of them are even autos,
right?
So you have all the autos
cards you get, and then
it's
So I think a lot just got ripped, and I think a lot of it was done. And I think there's just so many people that don't post that they have stuff. There's a lot of people in blowout, this stuff on blowout forums that don't deal on social media at all and only deal in blowout. Now, a lot of these people probably were sitting on a ton of these supers. A lot of people probably recalled packages from PSA. probably stopped packages en route from PSA.
Well, there were people that stopped packages en route to people that bought cards on eBay.
Yes, there were.
That's already come out.
There were some scams that have come out from this, and
Yep.
I wasn't surprised to see that at all either. But yeah, there definitely were some scams that came out. Shocker. But yeah, so the Babe Ruth Super is out there now. It has been pulled. I hope that dude takes the 200K. He'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what else would be stupid not to?
What's that?
I think we would be really dumb not to call it a week.
Well, it would be really dumb for me because I got to pick my son up from school. So that sounds great.
Yep, exactly.
Yes. So, guys, that is going to do it for episode 201 of Let Me Get That Potograph. Of course, want to thank our awesome sponsors. Could not do this show without you guys. Zion Cases, Denver Sports Cards, Slab Strong, Show Your Slabs, Treasure Hunter Sports Cards, Game Time Sports Cards, and stand-up displays. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. Could not do this show without you guys. New episodes of Hobby Hotline every single Saturday. Guys, make sure to check that out. Plus the return of a viewer favorite show coming here very soon. Just spoke with Tracy about it yesterday. So looking forward to a lot of awesome stuff. And of course, me and Scott will be back next week. Today, a show full of updates. Who the hell knows? I'm sure a lot of craziness will happen between now and next week. But till then, you guys know the deal. Keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace. All right. Thank you guys who tuned in on YouTube for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let us know. We got a couple of minutes here before I do have to run.
Yeah, let's see.
Good show today.
Looking through the comments here. So I think my customer is such a basic telling, knock it off. Yeah, I would agree. I think they do need to cut the crap.
Well, I saw everyone. I didn't tune in. I had practice, so I missed the first part of the Monday night game or whatever Sunday night game, whichever
Sunday night game. Yeah, I was doing a couple of soccer games that night, so
everyone complained that they saw her on TV like every 5 minutes. I watched the game from the second quarter to the fourth quarter, and I only saw her like twice. Like it was nothing by the second half. I mean, maybe at the very beginning they did it, but no, I don't know. The NFL would be stupid not to capitalize on that type of stuff. Honestly, you can't not. Now you can't make it all about her, but they haven't. I mean, showing people in the stands is gonna happen if there's something like that. If any other person besides Taylor Swift that was on that type level, Beyonce or someone.
I was thinking, like, what if Beyonce was dating Justin Jefferson?
Yes, at 100%. That would be all anyone would be talking about. Like it would be the same thing. It's just that just so happens to be Taylor Swift, who just so happens to be doing some crazy world tour that's shattering records. So it's really just a perfect storm type of thing. Yeah, I did.
I was just about to say that is the only good thing that's come about this.
Yeah,
is that, Brittany Mahomes is all pissed off that like she's not the center of attention anymore.
You would think Brittany Mahomes would be stoked because you would think she'd be right up next. I would be in that booth and I would be right up next to Taylor Swift trying to become besties with her since all she wants.
Well, it looked like she was trying to do that.
Well, that smart move by Brittany because that's how you get it. I mean, she's an attention whore. Who's going to give her more attention, or what? How are you going to have more attention placed on you than being in the background of Taylor Swift pictures? Just maybe don't have resting bitch face on every single one of them.
I don't think she can get rid of that. I think that's a permanent thing. That would
it is. It
probably require some plastic surgery or something like that.
Well, that'll happen.
Yeah, I did. I will say I did like seeing Ryan Reynolds up in that booth.
Me too.
The other night too.
Me too. Shout out Ryan Reynolds. Van Wilder, baby. Great.
Yeah. Good seeing him up there.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think that's about all we got for the week.
Yes, guys, if you're in the Denver area, we'll be at Collecticon this weekend, heading out to Denver late tonight, early tomorrow morning. So hit me up if you're in the Denver area. Come say what's up. I'll take some pictures, say what's up. Always like seeing you guys. And everyone always, as always, we do tape all of our recordings live, so you can put in questions, comments, anything you would like. We would love to answer as many as we can, either on break or at the end of the show. So we're not ignoring you. We just got a show to do for all the podcast listeners. And then we've got bonus content and sometimes extra bonus segments. If I didn't have to leave in a minute and pick up my son, we'd be talking about some more hobby stuff like most episodes. But make sure to go back and check episode 200 as well. It's a long one, clocking in about hour 45 minutes. But I'm telling you,
it's worth it.
There is so much information in that hour and 45 minutes that is good for the hobby. And no matter if you've been in the hobby for 2 months or 20 years, you're going to learn a lot on episode 200. I'm very, very proud of how that episode came out and thankful for the people we had to help make that happen. But
yeah, exactly. Having Tracy, Ezra, and Denny on with us that night was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
A lot of information got shared, and y'all got to learn things that most people aren't gonna know.
Privy to know. Yeah, exactly. And guys, and it's not to brag or anything, but the thing is like that's what we want to do is educate, because there's nothing wrong and nothing can go wrong from learning more in the hobby, especially if you're putting your money into this industry. You need to learn things that you might not think about. You might not think about that. You might not think you need to know that you do. So hopefully we can provide a lot of that, but a lot of amazing information on episode 200. Highly recommend checking it out. But Scotty boy, let's get out of here, my man.
Yep.
Peace out, guys.
See ya.